Kash Patel tried to shut down the Director of National Intelligence and the National Fusion Center Director, which you're supposed to share intelligence. That was the point of the laws passed for 9/11, wanting no investigation of accomplices domestically or accomplices internationally. So that's officially a cover-up. Now, I said that I got that from someone in the private cabinet meeting. You understand, there's only members of the cabinet in those and their aides. And I was called, and they said, the information, they want you to put this out, that Kash Patel is doing a cover-up. And I said, who wants me to say that? And they told me who. And so I went on air and I said, I've been told to tell you this. Now, word for word, what I told you is now in the news, the exact meaning, all of it. I continue to point this out so some people out there that, you know, live in la-la land can get this. This isn't some 4chan Q drop with a bunch of gobbledygook, esoteric, Gnostic crap, vagaries that you're supposed to decode in your magic, you know, decoder ring. This is what happened. And I'm giving these things all the time because the good guys want to boost my credibility.
I've got to get 10 different assumptions to make this gunshot work. And maybe, right, Alex? In the universe of worlds, maybe the jackpot Powerball got hit and all of those things happened. And that's what led to this 30-06 round not passing through his neck. If you want to believe that, and I know some people do, that's fine. But I'm sorry, it's not.
I don't know anybody who wants to believe this now but the FBI. But I was told 2 days before Patel came out and said, we're looking at everything, all the angles, helpers, hand signs. I was told from inside the White House, no, they're going with lone gunmen. They're not even looking at the Trantifa saying he'll be dead tomorrow. So I was told by very credible people there's a cover-up. And I don't say that with pleasure. You know. Remember the big no-no, what I really got banned off of the internet for? Lester Holt they had a Twitter on Jack Dorsey, and he says, you've got to ban him. I've been banning everything else. So you got to ban him. He just called for using battle rifles to kill Antifa and journalists. And you notice they didn't show the clip because I just done an X stream, Twitter stream with millions of viewers. I was off everything else except band.video and Infowars.com. And they just broke into Tucker Carlson's house while his wife was there in D.C. And they were saying, we're going to start going to everybody's houses. And I didn't want to give them attention because back then it wasn't known where I lived officially, but they'd been at my house the same day. It was all part of a probe. And I said, you better have your battle rifle ready because if they kick off the Civil War now, which Brendan was talking about then, removing Trump in a coup, I said, if they decide to go with this, they're going to go after all the key media people that are patriots, and we don't have protection. But they're also going to go after Trump's cabinet and police chiefs and mayors and people that are good and governors that are good, because that's what the plan is. And Podesta was already selling it, and Brennan was on TV, on C-SPAN with a big intelligence agency alumni meeting saying, don't worry, he'll be gone. This is 2018. And they go, impeachment? And he goes, no, the other thing. And they all laughed. And that was right around this time. They were really getting ready to go with the Podesta plan even earlier before they officially put out the Podesta plan in August 2020. And I saw the pre-programming, and they were just pissed because I knew it. And I didn't even say anything about journalists. I didn't say go kill journalists. Of course, they didn't show you a clip because I didn't say it. I said, you better be ready if you're going to stay in your house. You better be ready to defend yourself. You better have your battle rifle ready. And if you can afford it or do it, and you're a prominent person, and don't think you're not important, even if you're just somebody with a medium-sized show, you're probably on their list. They are coming to your house. So I was raising the alarm and saying they're getting ready to trigger this so that they wouldn't be able to trigger it, because even back then, all the intelligence agencies, everybody listened, and they're all compartmentalized. The average threat fusion center, the average sheriff's department, the average Pentagon, intelligence unit, they're not involved in any of this. It's globalist corporate contractor combines that'll do the detonation, the trigger of it. And so, if I woke up and I heard Trump's been killed, I'm in the car, out of my house immediately, and I'm not even there most of the time now because I understand how red level the threat is right now. And so, you know, I wake up, to, God forbid, Tucker Carlson's dead. I told Joe Rogan this, everybody. I said, believe me, buddy, you're on the list. And he agrees with me. The minute you see a nuke go off, they blame it on the Russians, whatever the thing is, a black college gets blown up by a truck bomb, 300 illegal aliens get shot at a demonstration, that'll be the pretext for the civil unrest to overwhelm local authorities. And then sometime around that time, they're going to roll out, and you'll just hear in all the chatter, oh, all this stuff happened. All these people got killed. All these things happened. And they are just going to spring into action. They're going to attack police stations, the ones they don't fully control, and jurisdictions they don't control. They've got list of police they're going to kill. Folks, you need to listen to me. This is 100% going down if we don't get it word out. And I've advised on air and off air to people in the White House and the Pentagon, and they all know this. I just say you need to have urgency, and I've studied this a lot, and this is what I think you should do. And I said when Trump first got in, he needs to move all his key people to military bases immediately. Immediately. And then put them on high alert, which they've done covertly, so that they're unable to decapitate us when they make this jump. So, but just exposing him is why they're so pissed off, because the fact that tens of millions are watching and listening to this degrades their ability to carry this out very badly. But how much we degrade this plan is how much you share it and promote it. And I'm going to explain something really powerful when we come back. I'll start talking about it right now, and I'm trying to get the archivist to find it because I get stuff like this that's so interesting and so powerful, and I ask these people, why are you telling me? And they go, well, we've decided we think you should put this out. So about a month ago or so, I talked about it a couple times, and of course, it didn't go viral because something's huge and exclusive and real from somebody with total credibility with a huge track record of being incredibly accurate. You know, it's like, eh. I'm told by someone in the cabinet meeting, a private one, that Kash Patel has this big fight with Tulsi Gabbard, and J.D. Vance is there. This person in the room that thought I should have this information. And that Patel killed an investigation into any accomplices of killing Kirk, foreign or domestic. That's when I said, well, okay, it isn't officially a cover-up. And I elaborated on it some, but it's so... And then now it breaks yesterday all over the news about this exact meeting and that happening, word for word what I told you. I mean, when I'm telling you this, like, people need to understand, like, people always ask, who tells me what to say? I'm in charge. As much as anybody except like Trump or somebody, I call the shots. I have like top current people in the intelligence agencies call me and say, what should we do? Not bragging. You should understand the power of this broadcast, okay? I'm in command. You understand that? We'll be right back. All right, I didn't say what I just said last segment to sound big or be on a power trip or anything. Actually sit back and think about who exposed the New World Order more than I have, who has done the most wide spectrum analysis of every facet of all these different countries, interlocking systems. I've done it. And because I've been totally immersed for 35 years in this fight, 31 on air. I've been obsessed with this since I was about 7 years old. I've been absolutely just natural to it. And that's God's hand's been on me. And the bad guys know that. They know I accurately see through their plans. To me, it's so simple. And I've been reached out to many times by the Pentagon, many times by intelligence agencies, many times by the DOJ, asking my advice for decades now. You know, the good guys in there and what I think is going to happen next. And I'm just like, you don't know about all these? What they said here, there, it's all, they're like, no, give us a report. Now it's all crystal clear. So when I said, who tells Alex Jones what to say? I do. And when I say I'm in command, it doesn't mean of everything, but it means I'm in command of the information, and people know that. And that's why they want us off the air. And I told you it was the DOJ, and Trump even gave us a bunch of the documents in February, under Obama and right through to now, with these embed groups trying to take us off the air. Now, Grassley, hours ago, just released more documents where Jack Smith specifically said, I want Alex Jones and I want his crew targeted in this huge globalist, anti-American espionage operation against us. Those documents are now public, but that's a side story. I'll get to it. I already know this, okay? I told Trump he was being spied on first in July of 2016 at the RNC in Cleveland. And I met with a bunch of key officials in an undisclosed location, and I've never revealed that. So even back then, they knew to get my view on things. That's what they do, smart people. So my point is, when I tell you all of this stuff, I'm not just here saying it, okay? The globalists are planning a huge or a group of huge events. It might be a nuke blamed on Russia. There's a lot of stuff, mass false flags, you name it. They're moving the Trump officials into bunkers, okay? I told you when they said, 700 troops to Alabama for rapid reaction, that's just the beginning. Now they're preparing them in every state, and they should. This is not Trump wanting martial law. This is Trump trying to get on a war footing for the globalists making their move. And that's why they got mad in August of 2018 when I said they're getting ready to try to launch a civil war to topple Trump. I had Brennan on TV saying, don't worry, we're about to take over. The moderator and all the former intelligence people says that have been kicked out by Trump says impeachment. And he says, no, the other thing. And they all start smiling and laughing. You only get up on TV and tell your people we're going to have a coup. And they had mud of the CIA. You say, we're going to kill, the CIA is going to kill Trump the same week. They were up there saying, hey, we're tough. Telling their own people, we're in charge. Don't worry, we're going to kill him. And they had Antifa probes, not just at Tucker's house and mine, but almost everybody else prominently I knew. And the reason you don't make a big deal about that is you own your house in a trust, so the name isn't known. They're getting it from their law enforcement sources that are globalist, Antifa, left. And then I don't need to talk to advisors, but they also advise me and say, yeah, don't let them know that they found the right target. We've had a lot of other crews swatted, but they made the decision not to admit it because, of the point, it's not good to give that intel. So I'm explaining all this to you from the bottom, the middle, and the top, how this works. Now, and I'll get to this next hour in detail, but just to explain this, back on, what was the exact date? Back in September, and the archivist quickly, because I just asked this right before the show, found one of the times. I did it many times and in more detail, but they found a short clip where I say exactly what is in the New York Times, the Washington Post, everywhere yesterday. Kash Patel tried to shut down the Director of National Intelligence and the National Fusion Center Director, which you're supposed to share intelligence. That was the point of the laws passed for 9/11. Wanting no investigation of accomplices domestically or accomplices internationally. So that's officially a cover-up. Now, I said that I got that from someone in the private cabinet meeting. You understand, there's only members of the cabinet in those and their aides. And I was called, and they said, the information, they want you to put this out, that Kash Patel is doing a cover-up. And I said, who wants me to say that? And they told me who. And so I went on air and I said, I've been told to tell you this. Now, word for word, what I told you is now in the news, the exact meaning, all of it. I continue to point this out so some people out there that, live in la-la land can get this. This isn't some 4chan Q drop with a bunch of gobbledygook, esoteric, Gnostic crap, vagaries that you're supposed to decode in your magic decoder ring. This is what happened. And I'm giving these things all the time because the good guys want to boost my credibility. Many other examples. We're told from high up the campaign, yep, it's going to be this Friday. This was on Monday. Kennedy will endorse him at a big TPUSA event. It'll either be in Arizona or California. We haven't chosen. And we want you to announce it. And, of course, people said, that's crazy. He's nuts. And what I said happened. So when I tell you this stuff, I'm both doing what people in the White House ask me to do when I know it's accurate and good and always is. These are good guys. And I'm also advising them, so it's a simpatico interface, and we want to interface with you. And they know I have one of the biggest audiences out there and the most hardcore audience, so I'm explaining to you why the good guys in the White House. This isn't 8chan, this isn't 4chan, this is Alex Jones. That's my real name. This is real. And the White House wants you to know that we're winning on every front, but we haven't won the war yet, and the stakes are high, and if we're overconfident, we've got a big problem. The big guy's going to be confident for the whole world for overall morale, but you need to know there is a serious danger. Just like Ted Cruz said last week, people not taking left-wing violence serious just because No Kings was a dud. You better watch out. They're planning something much bigger. He's telling you the truth there, too. I don't like him on foreign policy, but Cruz is very smart and a good guy overall. So we need to work with our allies. We don't need to fight over the 5% we disagree on. And quite frankly, I've read Fuentes in on this in the last 6 months, and he's listening to me now, because I called him 3 weeks before they killed Charlie Kirk, and I said, you and Charlie Kirk are main targets. I can just look at all the evidence. You need to have high security. You need to watch out. You need to cancel events. They're going to try to kill you and Charlie Kirk. And he'll tell you I told him that. And he called me after Kirk got killed that evening and said, oh, my God, I'm really taking this serious. And I said, well, listen, you have to understand that there's all these factions, and the Democrats want to put us in prison, and they're the main suspects, but we're not sure. But I could just see the buildup in media attacks that this was going on, and there's a lot of calculus goes into it. He says, well, do you have a source? I said, no, I'm the source. That's what I do. I take all this data, and then I don't even know how I know it. I just go, and that's the prime projection. And so I explained to him, I said, we need to stabilize things. We need to call for nonviolence, which he's always done. And we need to understand that they got a lot of radical forces on the left and right. They're getting ready to clash. We have to get ahead of that to tamp that down. And I explained to him that, this is before they did it. I said, that night, I said, they're going to probably blame you for Kirk's murder. And sure enough, the next day they did. See, and when he talked to me again, he goes, how the hell, how'd you know that? So I'm not even sure how I know it. I mean, it's like, this is all I do, people. That's why all the intelligence agencies in the world listen. That's why Putin 3 times in just the last 2 years has sent me official, I don't put it on air and make a big deal about it, Vladimir Putin's signature, no visa needed, no nothing. You want a private jet to come get you. We want you to come meet with Lavrov and everybody and advise us. And they're not trying to compromise me and get me to come over and work for them. I'm already standing up for Russia because they're the ones encircled and attacked. Russia gets a bunch of its talking points from me because it's true. It's not the Russians tell me. You notice I'm always ahead of the Russians, what the Russians say. Because they know I study them, and I also have the Western understanding, and I'm trying to stop a nuclear war. Because I'm in command. And this isn't a thing of bragging. It's super dangerous, people. And by command, you're all in command with your actions and voting and speaking out. You're not in as much command as I am, but you have all the power in the aggregate way greater than mine. And it's not about attacking Kash Patel, but he's compromised. And I can tell you, the investigations into the bad guys in me, now that they know, I can tell you that they're not over. And that was all a test to expose them. And we want them to know that now. We're smarter than you. We're tougher than you. We're real Americans. If we wanted to be evil and fly around on brooms like you and fuck over a bunch of people, we do it a lot better than you. But we're not pieces of crap that need to see other people dumbed down and poisoned so we feel more powerful. We are the real aristocrats that raise civilization, that believe in humanity. You are the losers. And I'm talking to the higher up bad guys, not their idiot minions. So I'm going to go to Chase Geiser. I appreciate him coming on because he knocked it out of the park the other day. But I'll get more to this next hour because it feeds into everything. But the point is, they're getting ready to make their big move. They've been making it. The shutdown's the big move. It is the smokescreen trigger so they can say, oh, it was Trump and a shutdown, even though they did it. That will then be the gauleiter or the preparer of the ground for the different scenarios they've got. And I know the different scenarios, what they pre-programmed, how they operate. I've got a good idea. I don't know which card they're going to play because they're sitting there with their cards in their hand, not sure which ones they're going to play. And right before they play their cards, we'll see a big flurry of them pre-programming, so we'll know, probably. But this universe isn't a vacuum. By us exposing them, do you understand how upset they are? That a month before they tried to kill Trump and Butler, that I said he should not be doing outdoor events. They're going to try to kill him in the next month. I didn't do that ever before. I could see all the signs. You could be sitting there in the woods hunting. And you hear the squirrels and the birds and all the chirping and the squirrels barking. They go, and all of a sudden, everything is quiet. And you go, okay, is that a coyote? Is that some wild hogs? Something they're scared of. And then you sit back. Because they don't do that for deer coming through. And you sit back and you kind of sitting there in your little tree stand. You start looking. What am I about to see? I'm about to see a mountain lion? About to see a black bear? About to see maybe some bobcats? They'll get quiet for those. I'm about to see some wild hogs. You see? But take that as a hunter and knowing your environment, all of a sudden everything is quiet. That's your surveillance system. Well, imagine taking that with all the political stuff to the next level and the next level and the next level and the next level. And then you are the hunter and that's what you do. You're the Jaeger master. And I've told the globalists, you think you're hunting us. No, you are the hunted. Because now the lights are on. And nothing you do will get you out of this now. Only surrender will save you. All right, so here I am in September. This is just a clip they found. Great job. I did like 20 minutes on it. I know we're going to find that block. And it's the meeting I told you about, everything I told you. This is just a short clip they found. I'm sure they'll find a longer one. I know I talked about it at least 3 times. And I should have made a bigger deal about it. But it was so horrifying to know that Kash Patel killed any investigation into foreign involvement or domestic involvement into any accomplices, and how I was given it. And I asked, I said, because I'm being given this because I'll do it. And I have a big audience, and you can't. And they're like, of course, yeah, that's why. Do you need us to tell you that? You know, I've asked these people before, like, why did you tell me this and didn't even tell me off record? It should have been off record. Oh, we just knew you'd know to have it off record. We respect you. We just give you the information. You know, kind of want to see what you think. That's real respect, people. That's what this is about. And the enemy respects me and hates me and wants to destroy me. All I'm asking for you to do is recognize the trust that God has put into InfoWars and the crew and all of us and the listeners. We're all one big family. And realize we're the best hope there is of stopping this. This isn't about bragging. It's about telling people, hey, folks, look in the mirror. We're who's coming to save us. And the enemy recognizes you, this family, this operation, this audience of activists as the big threat. So I need to tell you, you're the big threat. You're the big swinging dick. And all the danger that comes with it. It's a responsibility. It's not a power trip. But you have to recognize the power you've been given. God appointed us for this time. So that's a report to you on the state of affairs. Here's a clip from September.
I've got to get 10 different assumptions to make this gunshot work. And maybe, right, Alex? In the universe of worlds, maybe the jackpot Powerball got hit and all of those things happened. And that's what led to this 30-06 round knap passing through his neck. If you want to believe that, and I know some people do, that's fine. But I'm sorry, it's not.
I don't know anybody who wants to believe this now but the FBI. But I was told 2 days before Patel came out and said, we're looking at everything, all the angles, helpers, hand signs. I was told from inside the White House, no, they're going with lone gunmen. They're not even looking at the trannifa saying he'll be dead tomorrow. So I was told by very credible people there's a cover-up. And I don't say that with pleasure. All right, so the archivist found that, or actually Rob Dew found that. I did at least 20 minutes on it. Find the full thing, right, about foreign involvement as well. That's the key. And so that's a cover-up. And by the way, those federal agencies and Tulsi Gabbard's agency were set up after 9/11 for sharing, and Gabbard and the agency she's working with, there's 2 of them, They said, no, we found evidence of foreign involvement. That's coming up next hour. Because now I got a lot more details of this meeting. I was just told about the meeting with Patel there screaming at people. That's my FBI. You don't look at that. They're supposed to under law. And I'm going to show you. And it's not about having a hard on with this guy. But everybody else is scared to go after him. Well, I'm not. So, because I don't think about what happens to me. And people know that. If something's the truth and it's got to be done, I don't even think about consequences. And there's a freedom in that. What out there could have an effect like methylene blue and synergistically work with it to boost it and supercharge it? So I got with Bigley. They've been making supplements long before I got with them. And I got with Chase, who's really smart. And I said, I want you to go to a couple of different formulators and ask them what you think's the best. Announcing later.